Hey everyone, it is awesome to have you back here today. And I know I always say I'm super excited to have the person that's here today, and that is absolutely true. But today, I have a personal favorite. This is John Kitchens, my actual coach, who has agreed to be on the show. John, thank you so much.
Yeah, thank you for the invite. Super excited to be able to hang out with you and hopefully have a great conversation.
Oh, for sure, for sure. So it was all part of my plan, anyways, because I had not lived up to all my things I was supposed to do in the past week for coaching. So this is just my way of creatively playing hooky.
There you go.
Just kidding. Just kidding. Anyways, John, tell us a little bit about yourself and how you got into real estate.
Yeah, so like most, got into real estate by default, right?
Hmm.
And it was just part of the job at the time for me. So definitely with an operational background and coming on board to an already very successful, organization, very successful company. But, at some point you've got to get somebody in place that can help stabilize and keep the train on the tracks.
Yes.
And, it was, I like to think of it as, 1200 horsepower motor on the back of a rowboat. It was kind of how the situation was. So definitely bringing in, coming in and stepping into that organization. And, that year had closed out 340 transactions. And then just by putting the systems and processes, we went to 430 and then 521. And then, life happened and, leadership gets pressure tested and people, tend to learn sometimes the hard way. And so
Mhm.
that was definitely our situation and had to really jump in. So, getting licensed, and that was, I came on board in October of '04. So I got licensed at the beginning of '05. And then I really didn't do any selling. I was just licensed during that time, just because it was part of our, when you're in a small town, you've got a big target on your back, especially when
Mhm.
you're, 10+% market share. And so our thing was, hey, everybody has to be licensed just to protect ourselves. And
Right.
so we all got licensed. Everybody was licensed. I mean, the gal that, answered the phones, that played gatekeeper, to everybody
Mhm.
walking in the office, was licensed. So we really held true to that. But for me, really jumping into the trenches was '07, '08, '09, and really learned a lot. And it was really cool because here I am getting licensed. I'm in the trenches and I'm like, man, all of those crazy agents, man, and they were lying to me. There's some, they just weren't truthful, right? Because I wasn't selling, so they could tell me whatever, but like, okay, I'll just take your word for it. So
Sure.
learned a lot. And so that was my early experience, in real estate.
Definitely. So, John, what would you say is your why?
Good question. You're going right at the old heartstrings, hitting the emotional side early here. Yeah, why? And I like to look at it from how Simon Sinek breaks it down. And my wife Holly studied this really. She took it deep. She went through Find Your Why, all through Simon Sinek Start with Why process, and unpacking, really what is a why, what is a why statement. And what she helped me understand is that it's really, um, it's really what are you the best at,
Mhm.
so that you can do something that gives you the most fulfillment.
Mhm.
And he uses other words in there, but that's how I understand it. And so spending a little time and doing the self-discovery process of, okay, what am I the best at? What is my unique ability, so that I can have the greatest contribution, which gives me the most fulfillment. And so what I'm really good at is having, you know, transformational conversations, really listening, asking tough questions, challenging people to think bigger, so that I can help individuals not only transform their business, but transform their life.
Absolutely.
And so that's my why. is really challenging individuals, humans, to think differently, think bigger, so that they can transform their business and transform their life. So that's my why.
And you live it every day, for sure. I
Yeah.
have been on the receiving end of it, thank goodness. Talk to everyone about becoming a productivity warrior.
Productivity warrior. It's really about just getting results.
Mhm.
And that's really, what we're trying to accomplish. And it doesn't matter what equity of life we want to talk about. It's about getting the desired results that you want in that area of your life for yourself. It's everybody's different, right? Your definition of success in business is different than my definition of success in business. But there is a desired result that we're trying to achieve, a desired outcome. And the difference is that you're either achieving that result or you're not. That's the definition of being productive. If you're achieving the result, then you're being productive. If you're not, you're just busy. And so we hear a lot of people saying all the time, right? And I ask you guys this question all the time. You're like, man, it's busy. I'm like, well, are you busy or are you productive? And then you got to step back and you're like, okay, this is what we're trying to do. Yeah, we're productive. We're being productive.
Mhm.
And really, to understand, to get the desired result, to be productive, is that we have to understand the sequence of how things work. And so if we're not getting the result, we have to reverse engineer what is causing us to not get that result. And if we're not getting the result, it means that we're not behaving a certain way. We don't have a certain behavior. There's not a certain action. There's not a certain habit instilled. So what's causing us not to behave a certain way? Well, that's because we're feeling a certain way. We're feeling creatures. So if I don't feel like doing something today, I'm not going to do it. So I'm not going to behave how I need to behave. And then you're like, okay, well, Aaron, why are you feeling that way? And what drives our feeling is our thoughts and our beliefs. So how we're thinking, and that's all really our beliefs are, is just a collection of our thoughts. So how am I thinking? Because that thinking is driving my feelings, which then drive my actions, which then drive my results. And then you're like, okay, well, why in the hell am I thinking that way?
Mhm.
And you're like, okay, well, what drives our thinking? What drives our thinking is our environment, our circumstance,
Mhm.
our situation. And so when you can understand that code, that sequence of events, and don't focus on the result, but reverse engineer to where the constraint is, and it's the constraint in our thinking is almost always where it's at, but something's driving that thinking. And you have to then make sure you're in the environment that allows you to achieve the thinking that you need to get the results that you're after. And that's really what it is. It's just understanding that, being disciplined to that process, understanding that it's about getting results, being productive. And I made it sound really easy, but it's hard,
It's
right?
real hard.
Real hard.
It's real hard.
And sometimes it takes that warrior mentality to work through that. So that's what it means to be a productivity warrior.
Absolutely. And it's really interesting that you were talking about environment, that really makes such a difference. And I can speak to that personally. John has set up this wonderful mastermind that we do quarterly now as a team, and that we have a bunch of other people that John coaches that does this. And it's called the kitchen table. And so we
Yeah.
do it every quarter. And for people that know me, my idea of when I need to have rest or I need to get away from things or get out of Dodge, it is not to go to a super intensive, strategic, like unpacking the numbers, figuring out where you are, looking at where you are, looking at where you failed, looking at where you want to go. That is not like my typical idea of this is such a reprise, or this is like the thing we need to do in it. But what is so amazing about it, and what is so amazing about working with a coach like John, is whatever it is, being in a safe spot and being surrounded by people in an environment where you are uncomfortable, but also you feel safe. and you
Yeah.
feel a part of something. And it is amazing how, no matter how overwhelmed you are, no matter how stuck you feel, that getting around that environment and all of a sudden, um, all these ideas start coming to you, all this clarity starts coming to you, and how it has become the thing that I really look forward to at the beginning of every start of quarter instead of dreading it, that sort of thing, like I did for years and years of a 20-year career. I now am striving and looking forward to, and that's like, it's not a vacation, but it
No.
is this, it's a great thing. And I cannot preach that enough to people. Drink the Kool-Aid, get beyond yourself, do those scary things, because you'll be real surprised at the person you find on the other side,
Yeah. It's
for
really
sure.
cool. Yeah, it is.
So, John, what would your adolescent self not recognize about you today?
Ah, um, man, just probably a little more patient, not
Hmm.
so serious. I think growing up in a coach's home, you're in
Mm.
that environment of, it's you got to be putting in the work. You've got to, it's got to take this serious, and it's I don't know necessarily it was my dad that was that way, but getting in that environment, that competitive environment, and you had to have that intensity, growing up in playing, youth sports, and just really understanding that. And I think back and I just kind of laugh and I'm like, just man, like just have fun, just have more fun. And so, for me, it really is, really focused on that, really focused on patience, really focused on, have more fun. Don't take it so serious. I think that's the big thing, right? It's like, shit, man. It's like this is a long ride. Like, why
Yeah.
are you trying to be so serious? Just have fun.
Hmm. Just have
Yeah.
fun. And it's amazing when you're living off your why, doing all the things you're supposed to be doing, and realizing life is a game.
Yeah. Yeah.
And it's
It
amazing
is.
how things all come together the way they're supposed to.
That's right.
How does being a part of EXP and the Honey Badger Nation make you feel?
Huh. What's cool about the Honey Badger Nation is really just kind of that mentality, and how the whole Honey Badger Nation even came about was that was the top award that our coaching clients would like competitively strive to achieve, right? That was the pinnacle award.
Oh,
Although it wasn't the pinnacle award, but that's the one that they wanted the most. And it was just the client that just demonstrated the relentless pursuit of their marketing, their business, their just leadership. Everything that they did was just in a relentless pursuit to be the best. And we also gave another great award called the Eagle Spirit Award, and it just really embodied what we stood for as an organization and who aligned to that the most. And I think Al Stasic is the only one to win both. I may be wrong on that, but you know, the whole honey badger mentality. And so when we came over to EXP, and then for us, and I'll tie these two together. So for us, prior to EXP, was really, we're always looking for a better way. But at the time, our vision was a model around partnering with agents to deliver our value proposition to position them as the number one agent in their market. And our goal
mhm.
was 2,000 partners by some ridiculous time here in 24 or 25 or 26, maybe even 27. I don't even know. It's ridiculous how long of a time frame. And so when you're clear on the vision, it's all the next step that supersedes strategy is the model. And so if you're open to a better way and finding a better model that can get you to your vision, to your big, hairy, audacious goal faster, then you have to be open to looking at that model to help you get there. So
Mhm.
for us, we saw an opportunity. We saw a model that was better than what we were doing to help us achieve what we were wanting to achieve. And then the really big thing was sitting down with leadership and understanding the vision for EXP.
Mhm.
And our first experience was sitting at EXPCon in Fort Lauderdale in 2017. And there were maybe 500 total people there, 4,000 agents at the company at the time. And this is 2017, celebrating 4,000 agents. And we had the opportunity to have breakfast with then the president at EXP. We had cocktails with the GOAT, Gene Frederick, but we had lunch with Glenn Sanford and Jason Gessing. And Kinder and I were sitting side by side right across from Glenn. Glenn was in front of me, Jay, and then Jason. There were about 20 in the room. And we just sat there to listen to Glenn share the vision that he had for EXP. And we were already in, but I remember nudging Kinder after we were kind of done and everybody was kind of getting up, and I said, we're way in. And he goes, isn't it scary how much in alignment we are? And I was like, yes. So that's when you know it's right. And that's when you
Mhm.
know to always bet on leadership. And that's the thing that I would say with EXP, that we knew that when we had that meeting and that we were open to a better way, but we knew that there was the synergy with the vision, and
Yes.
it was something that we wanted to be a part of. So when we
Mhm.
came to EXP, we were like, hey, we're going to have our organization. What are we going to call it? And we were, Al, we were like, we're the Honey Badger Nation. What are you talking about? And so the Honey Badger Nation is really just a mentality, a mindset. You got the Mamba mentality, you got the Honey Badger mentality. And it's just like, there is always a way. And we are in a ridiculous, relentless pursuit to achieve that better way, that outcome, to get to the vision and beyond. And so it's just one of those mentalities that we embrace, that we really, of who we are at our core, that we, really live to each and every day.
Absolutely. And I think the coolest thing about it is, and it took me a while even to realize that, is you think about honey badger don't care, honey badger don't give a shit, right?
Yeah.
But then realizing one day, I think when we were doing a coaching call or something and talking about that, and I'm like, well, what about the honey badgers that do care? And you're like, it isn't that honey badgers don't care, it's they don't care about the obstacles.
That's right.
And I was like, oh, you know,
Yeah.
light bulb. But the other thing is, even though it's like we don't care about the obstacles, don't care about the obstacles, and we don't care about, there's always a way. The collaboration
Yeah.
has been just mind blowing.
Yeah.
And I think if someone's never realized that that's an unusual thing, maybe they don't
Yeah.
get the value in that. But God, that's such a value.
It is. It's something that we've never seen or been a part of. When you're performing at a high level within this industry, like we have for so many years, you get into a lot of rooms, but you get into a lot of rooms full of ego,
Hmm.
and you got into a lot of rooms that people aren't authentic and transparent and vulnerable. And that's what we knew, that this was really cool, to when you see the true collaboration. And it comes back down to the model. And even so, that even some people that don't financially benefit are still open to contributing and adding value. Like the top icons in the industry to this day are, a part of this organization, a part of the Honey Badger Nation, that if you just message them, they're going to reach out and help in any way they can. And I think that's culture, right?
Yes.
So it's fostering that culture, which I think is the number one thing as you're growing any type of organization. I don't care if it's 440, 400, 4,000.
Yes.
It's culture first.
Mhm.
And when you understand what culture is, culture is just a collection of your people, and your people are those that you bring into your organization that should be of like mind. They are in alignment to who you are and to your values, right? Core values, the shoulds and should nots, how we make decisions, and bringing people into the organization that align to those values or strive to embody those values. And when you start collecting people, then that forms your culture. And so that's really what the Honey Badger Nation is, really just a collection of relentless, abundant minded, wanting to just add value no matter what culture. That's really what it is. And so how do I feel about that? I'm proud, right? I think proud is a good word. I think just humbled, grateful, excited. There's a lot of feelings that I would think really would layer in nicely there when you talk about, kind of what's been built in a really short period of time. And we're talking 3.5 years.
Wow. That's amazing. God, only 3.5 years. I mean, it's nothing.
Yeah. Jay just passed 6,000. So there's more in his organization than there were 3.5 years ago in the entire company at EXP. Crazy.
Amazing what happens when you have set your mind to something and you align with the right people.
That's it.
You better hold on, get ready, be careful what you wish for, right?
That's right.
So John, you've had a lot of success up to this point. What's important to you at this stage of your career and your life?
Yeah, I think what's really the most important is really living more to the why.
Yes.
Every, more every quarter, every month, every week, every day. And that means spending more time what I'm the best at and less time on the things that don't matter. And really focused on that for creating that, dynamic, that, the relationships, the conversations, not only for, clients and people that I have the opportunity to work with, but also, family, right? Close friends, community, growing an organization to impact people and living more and more to that unique ability so that I can see the transformation, right? To be a part of their transformation, not only in their business, but also in their lives. To me, that's the most important. I can triple your business, but I get more fulfillment for you becoming a better human being. And that's, to me, what is the most important moving forward.
So it's interesting that I never knew that your dad was a coach.
Yeah.
And the fact that you came into coaching.
I just found a way to make more money than coaching the way he coached. There you go.
There you go.
I laugh about it. I'm like, because I saw his paychecks. I know what he was making out there. That's why he had to coach 4 different sports and take care of the field, during the summer. Right? Like those high school coaches, they don't get paid nothing. So, definitely, I think it was kind of just ingrained in the DNA. And, I always said, man, I would never do that. And, here I am, but just a different way to impact and, impact lives.
Absolutely. For sure. Well, John, thank you again so much for being with us.
Yeah.
We're really looking forward to actually seeing you in just a couple days.
And,
for more growth, for
That's
sure.
right.
To
That's
be
right.
productivity warriors ourselves. I promise everyone I'm not drinking.
Not yet. This is it. Yeah. Maybe you gave us a few hours, maybe.
Thank you again, John.
Yeah, absolutely.
See you soon.
Thank you. See ya.
Bye-bye.